Welcome back to E-Erotic the brand. Hi, my name is Eden Lee Middleman, and I'm your host here and favorite dating and sex coach. I've got some big news for all of my frequent viewers and listeners. I have membership now available on YouTube and subscription on TikTok and lots more of the content you love, so don't forget to check that out. I also have some amazing new merch I just dropped. Is it limerence or is it love? A lot of you guys are on the same boat with this topic, with this term. If you haven't heard what limerence is, or if you haven't heard basic bitches on TikTok talk about this, limerence is essentially this obsessive, sort of what you feel is uncontrollable obsession with somebody that you might actually mistaken as love. It is not possible to love somebody if you have no idea who the fuck they are. Like, it's the fictitious character that you've created in your head based off of like a few things that you might have been attracted to by them, and like created this whole person in your mind, and now you can't get over it. Now you're obsessed with it. Now you're scared of like rejection from them. You want to please them. You totally overlook red flags. This is where shit gets problematic. You are not in love, bitch. You are not in love. You are in limerence, okay? You are a limerent person. Now, this term isn't new. This concept is not new. It was coined by a psychologist in the 70s. Her name is Dorothy Tenov. She has a book. If you want to read the book, I highly recommend it. If you want to know more about it, if you feel like you're in limerence or a limerent person. I know so many people in my personal life, people I've coached, and just people that message me, and I can just tell right away that like they have limerence-like tendencies, or they are in that stage or phase in their life right now where they are just overly consumed with the thought of somebody. Like, you overly romanticize this idea of being with them and who they are, and you aim to please them. It's just a very dangerous boat to be on, because when you are so obsessed or in love, like what you think is fucking love, but bitch, you're not in love, you're blinded by only the good because it feels good. It really does affect the neurochemicals in your brain, and that is why it's so addicting to be obsessed with somebody. Like, you know, when you have a crush and then that crush becomes a little bit more than the crush, and you're kind of like, oh my God, what are they doing? And checking their socials all the time, and like, you're not even a thing, or maybe you're just in the talking stages and you already feel like you know them, and like, oh my God, I finally found my soulmate, and you call like your friends and you tell them all this shit. That is when you really have to realize, hey, this isn't normal. And the problem with that is you've been taught that love is like this really heavy, harsh, like up and down roller coaster. You suddenly believe in this idea of love at first sight when you feel this way because of all the movies and all the fucking TV shows and shit that you watch. Like, bitch, you're not living a soap opera, okay? The cameras are not rolling. This is real life. And in real life, this is not really realistic, nor is it sustainable. How can you meet somebody? And this is a great way to kind of ask yourself and give yourself sort of that wake-up call at the early stages of this. How can I love someone if I actually don't know them? I think I know them, but I can't say for certain. I can't bet my whole life on it. I have not had enough interactions with them, good or bad. I have not dived into what their past was like. I haven't had these interactions with them. I haven't sat down and had a heart-to-heart with them. So how the fuck can I be in love with somebody that I do not know? You do not love them. You are infatuated by them. So for those that are confused by the concept of limerence, it's essentially infatuation, okay? It's essentially infatuation. It usually doesn't end well. It ends in disappointments. We're going to go through the 3 stages of limerence together so you can understand where you might lie, what stage you're on, if you're near the end, and how we can fix this and what you can do better going forward. But sometimes just asking yourself, why do I feel this way? How is it possible that I feel this way? Where is this coming from? And is it realistic? If my friend came to me and told me she saw some guy at the office and, you know, he's so perfect and he's stunning and he's amazing and he's so sweet in the way he talks to his secretary, you'd be like, bitch, reel it back in, reel it back in. This is a little bit more heavy. This is like, this, I can't control myself. I can't stop thinking about them. It keeps me up at night. Every single thing that I do throughout the day, I'm constantly thinking about this person. And it's really heavy, you know, and it actually affects your mental well-being. People who are experiencing limerence are people who chances are have an unhealthy attachment style, have had some early childhood trauma that has to do with attachment or security or stability or feeling loved, or being given that. And so you become a very anxious person. The reason why limerence is a little bit more complex is because a lot of people who are limerent or in limerence are both anxious, constantly wanting to be with them, constantly getting approval, constantly wanting to, appeal to this person that they're obsessing over. They can't stop thinking about them. They get stressed over it, good or bad. Eating schedules are changed. Sleeping habits are changed. All of these things is actually affecting so many areas of your life, or it's getting to that point. At the same time, you can also be an avoidant person going through limerence because you don't want to know the truth about them. You don't want to pursue the truth. You don't want to live in reality. You're avoiding it entirely because you don't want to be disappointed. So it's a very interesting concept because you're excited and obsessed and living in a fairy tale la-di-da, and you really want their approval and you really want everything to go smooth, but you want the fictitious version of them to come to fruition, and you hope to God that they do, but you also subconsciously know that this isn't really it. This isn't really real life. So I'm going to stay as far away, or I'm only going to allow myself to indulge or see the things I want to see or feel the things I want to feel. And if they do something wrong, I'm going to completely reject that. So it's a little bit of an anxious attachment style where you're clingy, but also avoidant where you're like, I kind of am scared to go further in the sense that I don't want my bubble to be bursted. Bop! One of the biggest problems I have with it, and that you will go through if you are this person or feeling this way, is you actually feel not only a sense of zero self-control when it comes to your thoughts, these like intrusive thoughts, just it constantly being this like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But you also feel like you are whole with them. Like they are the answers to your problems. There's a pedestal here that you've built and then put them on top and then decorated. Do you know what I mean? Like you really went the whole 9 yards in your little fucking brain. It becomes very dangerous because now you're playing with your own self-worth. You're playing with this idea of codependency. You're allowing potentially lack of respect. You're ignoring red flags. You're neglecting your own needs and your own beliefs, maybe even your own morals and values at this point, because you're like, I am putting that aside because this person's all that I want, all that I need. And if that means compromising who I am to the core and my self-esteem and my self-respect, then so be it. Like, so be it. It sounds delulu because it is a little delulu. But at the same time, my friends, a lot of you guys have experienced this, will experience this, or know somebody who has experienced this. The beauty behind this, though, is it is short-lived. However, a lot of you guys within these stages of limerence, you oftentimes build bad habits that are hard to shake. And that's why it feels long-lived. So let me break this down for you. Stage 1 is obviously the most obvious one. It's infatuation to the highest form and the highest degree. You're thinking about them 24 hours a day. There's a sense of anxiety and stress behind it. It's addictive. It's like you cannot stop. Again, lack of self-control. Like stomach anxiety, even it can become physical, like heart palpitations, the whole 9 yards. And bottom line, it seems uncontrollable. So that is when you know you're in the first stage of limerence, this uncontrollable, constant obsession of thinking, feeling some type of way towards somebody. Stage 2 is what they call crystallization. It goes from infatuation to like something a little bit more crystallized, a little bit more deeper. You start to now think that the reason why you have these intrusive thoughts and the reason why you're obsessed with them and can't stop thinking about them is because they're the one. Like they are the answers to all your problems. They will make you whole. And I mentioned that at the beginning when I was describing it. So this is technically you're in stage 2. So you're getting really deep into these thoughts and feelings and almost trying to justify them to yourself. The biggest thing with this stage is you avoid rejection at all costs. Even like I said, if that means that you have to lower yourself, dim your light, shut up, swallow certain things, ignore disrespect, ignore red flags because you don't want to get rejected. You don't want to stand up for yourself because, oh my God, they're my everything. Like I cannot cause any conflict here and I cannot get rejected or else my bubble is bursted and I'm going to die. Like you actually feel, some form of that. And it is intense. The last stage of limerence is what they call deterioration. I love this stage for you. I think a lot of you guys need to go through these things. I think a lot of you guys need a fucking slap in the fucking face. You need to go through heartbreaks and you need to do better. Your choices after heartbreak is what makes your life better than what it was, is what allows you to get better people, to be better, or to stay in the same shit or do worse based off of your choices. The deterioration stage is really sort of this form of loss where you finally realize that this can't happen, that this person really isn't it perhaps, or that this was not at all what you expected it to be or wanted it to be so badly. It really is coming from a disappointment internally of like what you thought this would do for you, the answers that it would provide for you, the validation that you feel like you need. This is what it came down to. This person was going to fix you. This person was going to solve everything. This person was going to bring you eternal happiness. Now, even when we go through the deterioration stage, because of how addictive this feeling is, like feeling on a high, feeling like your life is about to be, made 10 times better by one person, all you need to do is like make them like you or see the value in you or chase them or whatever and put everything else aside. Like you feel like that's such a justified situation or solution to answer all your problems, to answer the void that's inside of you, to fulfill that, to fill you up, to make you whole. And we know that a person cannot make us whole. We know that that is a stupid bullshit concept that's going to have us chasing other people forever. That's oftentimes why a lot of cheaters continuously cheat if they don't decide to do the internal work, because they are constantly filling this void with entertainment, with other people doing stupid shit and lying and getting the high of doing all of that. It also becomes this obsession, which I've said several times, and codependency. A lot of us lean on or look to lean on other people because we feel like we can't give ourselves what we seek, what we want, what we need. Our needs are not being met. Maybe our needs weren't met when we were younger, right? Regardless of where you think it might have come from, and that's something you should unpack with therapy. And one of my solutions to people who feel like they're dealing with limerence and it's really hard for you, and you feel like it's been continuous for a long time and it's really affecting your day-to-day life, which is normal. Then therapy is the way to go. And then you can unpack the source of where this is coming from. Because if you just move on from this and find another target, you're not solving the problem. Find another obsession, you're not really fixing this bigger issue. And it all comes down to like, where did this start? Why do you feel like this is what you need to do? Why do you feel like somebody else is going to make you whole or fill you up or fucking solve, I don't know, the entire problem with the world? Like, it's desperate energy. Desperate energy is unattractive. Desperate energy is unhealthy. I've said this in my other videos. Putting them on center stage is not hot for nobody. Okay. Like, girls be out here being like, I want him to be obsessed with me. But then when he is, she runs away. You guys don't actually know what you want and what you need. There's a healthy level of attention or affection or validation that is encouraged and expected from having a good partner. But a lot of that has to be done from you and you first. A lot of self-soothing, a lot of self-love, a lot of self-validation. That should come from you. And people who are unable to do that oftentimes find themselves in limerence. It's not love, bitch. It's limerence. Why are you like this? Besides potentially deeply rooted things in your childhood or traumas or all of that stuff, a lot of people are like this is a genuine fear of being with yourself. And I think in this day and age, the vast majority are very scared with being with themselves. Boredom scares them and makes them feel uncomfortable. Being with yourself doesn't fulfill you, so you feel empty, and then you resort to all kinds of shit. That's why you all do drugs, you party, you fuck around, you act like hoes. You guys cannot be with yourselves. That's why you jump from one toxic relationship to the next. There is no period to breathe. There is no period to expand, to grow, to learn, to do better, because you are constantly just taking drugs. And drugs is love, like this idea of limerence, love, bullshit that you fed yourself. You're feeding yourself these addictive things that release the same neurochemicals in your brain. You're just constantly doing that. You're avoiding by distracting yourself with something else, with another obsession, with another relationship, with another person, with another fuck, with another party, with another whatever it is. This is what I mean by the idea of an avoidant person or avoidance. It's not so much just the attachment style. You are avoidant to yourself, okay? And that is why you're so hungry and you almost feel starved of that connection. That's why you want it so bad. And that's why you're obsessive. And that's why you put up with such shitty behavior sometimes, I know way too many people in my DMs that talk to me, my clients and friends and family even, who have told me like, I know this is not good for me. I know this person is not good for me. I know that they're not treating me right, but I just want to hug them. I just want them to love me. I just miss them. What we once were, what we could be. La-di fucking da. You guys keep layering shit without actually getting to the base of things, to the root of the problem and dealing with that first. Time helps and heals, but it only can help heal if the healing has started, if the healing is being done, if the hard work is being done, time helps. But if it's not, time won't help, okay? That's why dealing with a toxic person over and over again, thinking that time's going to help or heal, or you're going to realize it one day, doesn't actually help. If you don't get out of this obsessive, addictive cycle, you're not going to actually come out of it naturally. Okay. It's not going to happen randomly for you. I'm sorry to break it to you. You're not going to wake up one day and be like, I'm over it. You know, there are some people in this world who are like that. And I think I am very much like that. I can only take so much disrespect or pain or anxiety or stress until I'm like, I'm done. I'm over this. Ciao, mi amores. Drop, bye-bye. The vast majority of people I find don't have that. There's no motivation to leave because you're getting what you need, even if it's in the lowest, shittiest, most embarrassing form. You're still getting some form of validation. You're still getting some form of attention, but that's not real. That's not real. That is a lie. We lied to ourselves. We're scared to even ponder that thought and to think that we could do that because we feel even more unsafe in our own bodies. Sometimes we have to break and crack all of this bullshit that we use to protect ourselves to finally shed that layer and step into this new person that you want to become. I've told you guys to ask yourself this question in any situation where you feel down on yourself, when you are not sure what decision or choice to make, when you are not sure about a situation or a person. Ask yourself, what would the highest version of me do in this situation? And the highest version of you is not going to deal with this, would they? You know what I mean? Unless the highest version of you is really the lowest fucking shittiest person in the world or the dumbest person in the world, right? The highest version of you, which is who you should aspire to be every day, a little bit, right? Wouldn't do this, wouldn't put up with this, wouldn't allow you to spiral into some fantasy la la land, okay? I joke about this, but you guys are so fucking creative. It's like, go put that into art. Go put that into a project. Go make money off of your creativity. Like, the fuck you doing here ruining your own life? Use that creativity, channel it somewhere else, because you guys are really fucking creative. Like, you spend a lot of time doing that. If you only put like 5% of that time into something else, you'd be a fucking millionaire, I'm pretty sure. You'd be fucking super successful. When you look at that and you start to value yourself and your time, you're also going to be like, all right, what am I doing here? Like, is this productive? Is this effective? The highest version of you is going to always look for your best interest. Is this a good way of spending my time? Is this productive? Is this real? Is this realistic? Is this like possible? If you still think that love at first sight exists, I think you're actually fucking stupid. You can't look at somebody and say, oh, I love them. It was love at first sight. It was love at first sight. Bitch, how the fuck could it be love at first sight if you don't know them? In order to love somebody, you have to know them. Love requires a meaningful connection. Limerence does not. Okay? That's the biggest difference. It is not possible for you to walk down the street and say, that is my husband, or that is my wife, or that is the love of my life. The only time I ever hear couples fucking say love at first sight is when they're fucking lying to make their partner feel good about it. Like, oh yeah, when I met you, I knew you were the one. No, you didn't, okay? You didn't. You like them. Maybe you had a good feeling about them, okay? But then that was only validated and that only became a thought after the fact, okay? When I met my current man, we sat and had a conversation the other day too. And we do this like a few times throughout the year where we have this like question game that we do like for couples, and we might sound like boring, but we crack a bottle of wine, like make it sexy, make it fun, and we ask each other these questions and we respond and whatever, and it usually leads into like deeper conversations. And one of the things was like, when did you know that I was your person, you know? And we both were very straight up, like, I didn't know you were my person until we went through some hardships, until, you know, way down the line. Because how the fuck would I know the first day I liked you? I continued seeing you. Great sign. But that wasn't love at first sight. That wasn't love at first sight. Another reason why you are like this, if you are in limerence, if you feel like you're constantly caught up in these stages of limerence, is because of lack of self-care within yourself. So I guarantee if I looked at your day-to-day schedule in life, you're not pouring into yourself nearly as much as you should. And I mean like quality sleep, cleanliness, putting some effort into your appearance, doctor checkups, dentist appointments, eating healthy. If you are unhealthy in your day-to-day habits, you are unhealthy in your whole life. Life is very much a domino, okay, in everything. what you did in the past affected who you are today. We can look at it in a positive way. We can look at it in a negative way. How you woke up this morning, the choices you made this morning or last night is going to affect today and the rest of today and potentially tomorrow. And maybe not right away will you see the effects, but you'll see it long term. So if you're a lazy ass motherfucker, you're disgusting, you're dirty, you're going to see how that affects your life in the future. And it's going to be a lot harder to stop doing that and unwire that because you've just taught yourself that this is our routine. We wake up, we eat junk food, we fucking jack off and watch porn for 13 hours straight, and we're losers and we're gross. Okay, we don't wash our buttholes. Like, you are not going to be a good person. You are not going to be a productive person. You're not a disciplined person, obviously. With a lack of self-care and therefore a lack of self-love, you have a huge lack of discipline. Meaning, when you see somebody that might interest you, you immediately have no self-control. Discipline is all about self-control. If you do not discipline yourself throughout your day-to-day things, you will not be disciplined when it comes to emotions. Okay? You're building who you are by the choices you make every single day. And if you don't realize that now, you are in big fucking trouble. So I'm here to tell you it. I hope you wake up. I hope you do better. Okay? Warning. This is your warning. PSA. Big fucking warning. Check yourself. Do better. Focus on self-control and discipline. Even when you don't want to, do it. Brush your teeth. Wash your ass. Take a shower. Eat something healthy. Choose healthier alternatives. Okay? And I promise you, it'll help build you as a stronger, more well-rounded, more healthy person. And therefore, when it comes to relationships, feelings, emotions, you're going to be a little bit stronger there too. Another thing I want you to ask when you are feeling like you're in limerence, what does this person represent to me? Like, what does this mean? Why am I obsessing over this person? Okay. A lot of us, and this is something that you unpack usually in therapy. When you start to ask yourself, why am I putting so much importance on this person? And what do I feel like they're going to provide me? That's usually what you need to work on. So if they're going to provide me happiness and excitement, you're not happy or excited by yourself or by your life. So you need to work on your life and yourself to become happy and to make it more exciting, so that you don't rely on other people to provide you that, because that is the most unreliable source of happiness, is other people. It is so unfair, to the other person, because they have their own shit they need to work on. They don't need to be doing that for you. But also it is so fucking scary, because that person can switch up on you in a second and destroy you with one statement, with one move, with one breath. And you think that that's a better choice than putting in some of the work for yourself? I had a question the other day from somebody. She DM'd me, really, really sweet, whatever, saying one of my episodes really resonated with her. And then she said, how do I fast track the self-love process, or like the self-validation and like being able to self-soothe? Like, how do I fast track that? And my real raw answer is, because I don't bullshit nothing, there is no fast track. Like, there absolutely is no fast track. And to be honest with you, none of you guys deserve the fast track button, even if there was one. And I'll tell you why. Because you fast track everything in your life for the vast majority. Like, you barely watch a video, you flip on TikTok, on Instagram, no attention span. You try and get the easy way out of everything. You try and take shortcuts. What's easy or cheap gets pretty painful, long-winded, and expensive. Don't look at it and say, oh, but it requires me to go to therapy and to realize that I'm not fucking perfect, and then I have to feel things, and I'm so scared of that, or I'm intimidated or whatever. Pussy. Fucking pussy. Fucking pussy. Life is going to fuck you so fucking hard down the line. How are you going to survive that if you can barely survive this? That's what I don't understand. You had one heartbreak and that's the end of the fucking world for you. Like, woe is me. Stop being a victim. Get up and do better. Don't complain about your life if you're not going to make moves. Do not complain. Just get up and do better. That is not productive. You want to be productive? You want to fast track or get it over with as quick as possible? Do it today. Start now. And don't revert back to your old ways. Keep that discipline so that you are not backtracking. Okay? You guys want the fast track button, but bitch, I'll tell you something. There is nothing but a backtrack button for you right now. And I know that. You guys eat healthy for 2 days, or you don't text him back for 2 days, and then you fucking do. So all that work, the painful, and I know it's painful at the beginning, the painful work that you put into keeping busy, it's like pulling out your fucking hair. And then you go and slip up. It's so easy to slip up, but it's so hard to do the right thing. So after you've done all of that work, you're going to do that. Come on. Like, and I love saying this, and you guys quote me all the time, A plus B equals C, baby. Like, make it make sense. It doesn't make no sense. You're also in limerence when you cannot create a healthy attachment with yourself, okay? You make it with other people. You can't make it with yourself. You can't rely on yourself. You don't love yourself. You don't feel good about yourself. Fine. You don't have to love yourself 100%. Nobody really does. We all struggle with that, and it's okay. But as long as you can like get closer with yourself, validate yourself, self-soothe, make right choices, not distract with stupid shit that really doesn't do anything but damage you in the future, you're on the right path. Start small. Start small. Stop texting them. Stop checking social media for a day. See if you can do it for 2. Then test yourself and say, I did it for 2. Can I do it for another 2? And that's how you build it up. You don't need to be motivated because nobody really wants to do these things. They need to do these things. That's why I believe that not everybody can listen to my videos or take my coaching services or, I don't know, like go la-di-da and wake up when they say, this is probably not healthy. You know, it's very rare that happens. A lot of times you guys need to get really torn down for you to get up and change. It really has to feel like shit before you decide that you maybe want to feel better than this. And that's usually a very sad path and route to take. And not everybody actually comes out of that better. So it's a risk that you take. It really is you hurting yourself because you low-key think that you deserve this. And you're trying to kind of hide that concept from your conscious mind by saying, well, this person is going to be like the solution. Like everything's going to be great. Like it's it this time. Like I know for sure this time. Like da-da-da-da. No, bitch. Okay. Let's look at your track record and let's not think we're the exception to the rule. The reason why it's difficult to stop these behaviors too is because it's all totally entangled and wrapped in your self-worth, the way you view yourself, in your love for yourself, everything. So limerence provides you the medicine for the lack that you have, and that's always concealed with a person. Like this person is going to make me love myself, you know, and if they love me, that means that I'm lovable, right? And that for sure comes from childhood trauma of not feeling accepted or loved. And again, it doesn't have to be a traumatic childhood for you to have felt that. It's the way you digested it at a small, young age with a brain that was just not developed to process certain things. So you took it the way you took it, but you never dealt with it. You never healed. And if you reflect on your life, you will see these patterns. You just have to be self-aware. When you are self-aware, then you can start to be a little bit more disciplined with yourself, and it becomes a lot easier going forward. What is my advice to getting over this? How do I deal with this? How do I heal with this? Besides the things I mentioned, there are a few things I want to say. Number 1, if you feel like fucking obsessing or whatever, obsess for 2 minutes. Once the 2 minutes is up, put a timer on your phone. You were done obsessing. Sometimes when we run away from feelings or we ignore them or we try to like, okay, don't think about it. You think about it more, right? It's not about neglecting yourself from exploring or feeling these things. It's being able to look at them head on, feel, deal, and then do better, right? Actually handle them. Keep busy. Keep yourself busy, especially moments where you feel like you're going to sit and stalk them on social media or stare at them at work, whatever the fuck the case may be. You really want to find little tasks you can rely on that are healthy, that are beneficial with your time and will make you feel productive, that you resort to immediately when you start to get those feelings or thoughts. So write a list. That's your homework. Write a list of certain things you can do right away. In most scenarios, or like maybe do a different list for work or when you're out in public and then one at home, you know, that could be walking the dog, masturbating, napping, making yourself a meal, watching a show, calling a friend. Watching a show is like, because you're just kind of sitting there and it's mind numbing. Try and do something that stimulates your mind so that your mind doesn't actually float. When you are doing mind numbing things or you're not really putting your attention anywhere, it'll go to where it wants to go. And that's not always the healthiest thing. This is also a good exercise, and I do this a lot with my clients. Why do you love them? Ask yourself why you're obsessed over this person, why you think it's love. Ask why. And you're going to realize that there's really not much concrete, factual things that you love about them because they don't exist, because you made shit up, because you don't actually know them like that. And you're going to start to feel a little foolish, and that sometimes has helped. I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Limerence or love, bitch, it is not love. I'll tell you that much. It's infatuation. It's bullshit. And it's like a really cool, fun fairy tale story you made up in your head. Go write a book, but please stop. If you guys have any experiences you want to share, feel free to send me a message. Leave the comments down below. Any episode requests, you guys know I'm always up for. So don't ever forget to leave them down below because I take inventory of them. I appreciate you guys listening and spending time with me. Don't forget to give this video on YouTube a like and subscribe to my channel. It really does help me, mean so much. Make sure to check out the new membership program I have here on YouTube if you want more of this content. I'm talking lives, I'm talking exclusive content, I'm talking chats that I have with you guys. I love our little community and I appreciate you guys supporting me. Follow my podcast, E-Erotic the Brand by Eden Middleman. It's available anywhere you listen to podcasts. Rate it 5 large and in charge stars. And I will see you back here very soon. Take care of yourself and fucking do better. I love you guys.